Dorothea was born in Prussia in 1715. The house she was born in still stands today and is recognized as a historical site. Dorothea's father was a successful physician and taught her about medicine at a very early age. Although Dorothea was born during a time when it was rare for women to become doctors, she was inspired by Laura Bessi, an Italian scientist who was the second woman in the world to get a doctorate in philosophy and the first woman in the world to get a doctorate in science. Laura's academic career inspired Dorothea to follow in her footsteps and pursue a higher education in the medical field. Dorothea challenged gender roles by pursuing an education in medicine and ended up becoming the first woman doctor in Germany. Lingering fears and stigma surrounding female doctors remained from the Middle Ages and made it difficult for women to enter the medical field. One of the only accepted medical jobs women could have was to be a midwife and assist with childbirth. Women trying to be anything other than herbalists or midwives were met with extreme hostility. Male doctors would accuse female doctors of malpractice to have them be unable to practice medicine. They would also shut female doctors out of doctor guilds, which would make it nearly impossible to practice medicine in larger towns. Some female doctors were even accused of being witches just to keep them out of the medical field. While female doctors aren't being accused of being witches anymore, there are still gender gaps in the doctor profession. Dorothea learned all that she could from her father and began practicing medicine and helping the poor of her town. 3 other male doctors in town were not happy with her practicing medicine as a woman and accused her of malpractice. They also thought that women shouldn't be allowed to be doctors since they weren't even allowed to hold public office, and wanted her to take a medical exam to prove her knowledge. Dorothea had originally wanted to go get a formal medical education but was not allowed to, and had to get permission from the current king of Prussia, Frederick the Great. After she was allowed to study medicine, Dorothea received her doctorate at the University of Halle. She became the first woman in Germany to receive that degree and was now able to practice medicine without judgment. Dorothea used her medical knowledge to treat patients up until her death in 1762. Dorothea continued to fight sexism by advocating for women's access to education. Dorothea was very vocal for a woman of her time and openly criticized men for not allowing women to pursue a higher education. She also called upon women to begin desiring education in their lives. Dorothea realized that women already had a lot of burdens in their lives, but that getting an education would ultimately change their lives for the better. She voiced these opinions in papers and throughout her personal life, and helped pave the way for female doctors in her country by not being afraid to speak out. Dorothea is seen as a feminist pioneer for women in medicine and helped give a voice to women who wanted an education. She helped pave the way for women to follow their dreams by helping people as doctors. She had been honored in Germany by being featured in a permanent exhibit on 18th century women in the Klopstock Museum. Dorothea has been featured on a German stamp and was also featured on a Google Doodle to celebrate her 300th birthday.